Hey, Team FYN Sports and Circuit World of Blairsville presented Union Panthers Playback. Glad to be back this week here at Circuit World. We want to thank Domino's Pizza and Pepsi for the meal and drinks tonight. We want to invite you to follow us, Team FYN Sports, on Twitter and Instagram at Team FYN Sports. Also, to like our Facebook page, Team FYN Sports. And don't forget, every Monday at 10 a.m., instant replay on FYNTV.com. All right, we're here. We're talking 2A Region 8 football with head coach Brian Allison. Tonight we got with us number 50 Colson Daniel, the center over here on the far left, and Creighton Schaefer, the strong safety, number 2, Chayton. I said Creighton, Chayton, I'm sorry. And I practiced, Luther. Chayton, I'm sorry. Okay, Chayton Schaefer. Number 2 here, the strong safety, and number 4, Cannon Hempel, receiver, linebacker. Coach, right now sitting 5-0, top of the region. Got to go play Social Circle this week. But talk about the game this past Friday night against the Oglethorpe Patriots. You guys pretty much closed that out at halftime, able to get a lot of guys in second half. This guy here, Cannon Hempel, returned to kickoff at the beginning of the second half for a touchdown, right? Got it all the way back, sent it all the way. And so talk a little bit about that game.
Well, I thought that the concern always, we were on fall break last week, so we're not in school Monday through Friday. And, always a concern is getting ourselves out of a routine. And but everything turned out really well. Our guys came in, practiced well, and we went down to Oglethorpe and played well and did what we were supposed to do, took care of business. Right now, Oglethorpe's struggling just a little bit, changing coaches. So we're able to take advantage of some situations with some experience that they didn't have, and us having some good experience, and took care of the ball game.
Now, we've talked about this before, and for somebody that maybe is not tuned in the past, first time, what is it like when you're coaching and you're able to, throughout the season, because you've been able to get out of that first half, go into the second half, and immediately start putting some of the young players in and watching them step up and being able to play the second half of that ball game, getting a lot of different looks inside there this deep in the year?
Well, it's good for them, but these older guys didn't like coming out. None of the 3 of these guys like coming out of the ball game, so that's a double-edged sword, because the younger guys got to play a JV game the night before. But it is good to see those younger guys get to go in and have some success. We took, I think all 3 of these guys came out fairly early in the second half, so we got a different center in, and made a few mistakes, but tried to get a correction there. And so it was good to see Jonah came in and scored, and some defensive guys came in and made some good tackles.
Well, at this point of the season, because I know basically where the team was last year at this point of the season, how is the team as far as injuries? How healthy is the team right now?
Relatively healthy. We've got a few people banged up. We've got a knee injury, a back injury, a shoulder. Nothing that hopefully will keep anybody out this week. We ended up in the second half last week holding, or really in the second quarter, Caden Rich held in the second quarter. Drake Groves held in the second quarter from a few little nagging injuries. So, just not bad. Would like to be a little bit better, but not in bad shape injury-wise.
Guys, let me ask you this. Obviously, Coach just said if I ask you, you maybe don't like to come out and after the first half, but realistically, as strong as the team is playing this year, talk about how it is having a team where you guys can get in position where you come out, and obviously it helps to stay healthy and things like that. But talk about where you guys are at this point, 5-0 on top of the region right now. You guys just take off, talk about it.
Go ahead, man. It's good to see the younger guys go in, because for me all week I try to share my knowledge with everybody that I can. So, when all the DBs go in and I see them do good things, it really makes me happy to see what they can do.
You know, I want to mention at home, all these guys are seniors, and you guys have great leadership, and that's to me, I know that has to be very important every year that the senior leadership step up out on the field for the guys that are coming up next. As far as the center, talk about your front line, how you guys are doing as a unit up there this year, because I'm going to go over some total numbers, but the stats are just out of this world right now, and they're not happening unless that front line's clicking. So talk a little bit about your front line.
We've always got something to improve on. We're not playing perfect right now, and that's what we strive for, is perfection. So there's always something to work on. We've always got to get better. So it's just little things now. You know, at the beginning of the year, it was long lists of things we had to fix and do right and stuff, and you know, it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and we're just striving for the perfect game, and I guess we'll be satisfied when we have that.
Perfect game. Well, I said I said that I thought you were hitting on all cylinders, and Coach corrected me last week and let me know that we weren't hitting on all cylinders yet, right, Coach? So I said I wasn't hitting on all cylinders. Coach said let me know we weren't hitting on all of them yet. So you'll let me know at the end of the season if we hit on all them cylinders. Let me go over real quick Region 2A, Region 8 football, where everything stands. Raven is up there 5-0. Right there is Union County. The Panthers 5-0. Elbert is 3-2. Banks is 3-2. Monticello is 2-3. Putnam County 1-4. Social Circle 1-4. Oglethorpe 0-5. Scores from around the region this past Friday night. Banks County over Putnam 24-12. Raven 63 over Social Circle 7, and Elbert 47 over Monticello 8. Union 55 over Oglethorpe 0. Social Circle, tell us what kind of team we're going to see. We're going to see this week, Coach, on both sides of the ball, going to play Social Circle this coming Friday night. They're only 1-4 in the region right there, just above Oglethorpe. But what kind of team do they have?
Well, they're up front on both sides of the ball. They're huge. I think there's a tackle guard that's 360, and then they've got another couple of guys that are over 300 pounds. So they're absolutely the biggest team that we've played all season. On the defensive side, they're same thing. They're big up front, big at linebacker. I think last week the quarterback was hurt against Raven, and you know that hurt them some, just because the kid does a really good job. They got a really good receiver that we're going to have to defend. Also on their skill wise in the secondary is pretty good.
Let me ask you guys. At this point of the season, and all three of you take this and tell me individually for each one of you. At this point of the season, you guys are undefeated. You're going to play Social Circle Friday night. How do you keep focused on the game right in front of you and not let some other things get into your head as far as the next game or some other things out there about going undefeated or whatever? How are you guys handling where you're at in the season and staying focused?
I think it just goes through. It's just practice every day. Like we strive to get 1% better every day, and that keeps us focused on the game that we got that Friday. You know, Coach doesn't really like us looking ahead because I don't know, it could just get us beat if we're not focused on the task at hand. So
always staying focused on the right game. What about yourself? As far as a team, how are you guys doing as far as staying focused?
It's kind of the same thing. You just got to really look to the game that you're playing that week. You know, what's ahead's ahead, but you really got to focus on what you're doing right now. And you just got to be prepared for what they do and what they bring. And Raven's a different story. We can worry about that when that comes.
When that comes, go ahead, you.
I think it's a mindset. You know, we know what it takes to win ball games, and we know the work that it takes that we got to put in. So you just take that week by week and keep working, and you know everything will take care of itself. Doesn't matter.
I haven't had you guys here in a couple weeks. Two of you, I think all of you have been here one time before, but it was earlier in the season. I don't know if I would say what's different about this team, but what is it? What is it with this team for you guys this year at this point? Because we know Yeah, you know, last year you were playing a 3A. This year you're playing a 2A. Got a different guy. You got a different Pearson Allison behind center. Different quarterback runs the offense different than the guy there last year. What's a little different about this team that you guys could point out?
I think it's the team chemistry, just the bond that we have together. I've played with a lot of these guys for my whole life, and you know, that's big when we, you know, when you know that you can trust the man standing next to you when you go out and play on Friday night.
How about yourself?
It definitely shows. And it's not just on the field. It's mainly on the field, but you can see it in the hallways too. Like everybody's just seems different this year. Like everybody's for each other. We're playing for each other and with each other. You know, we just have each other's backs wherever we're at.
Is that what you see, Chayton?
Yes, sir. I mean, I couldn't imagine playing with anybody else. You know, I love these guys, and I think knowing that the guy next to you, you can trust them, you know they're going to do their job, then you can really focus on your job, and that's mainly how we win games.
As far as the leadership, let me ask you, like out on the field when you're playing on Friday night, you're going to miss an assignment. Somebody's going to miss an assignment. There's going to be a big play made on you, and you got to recover here and move on to the next play. Who is that out there on the offense and defense? Who are the guys out there saying, hey, it's over? Or is it just a team thing? You guys got it here. It's over. Let's go for the next play. What's that like out there on the field as far as the entire team, offense and defense?
Well, I think we know that we can't fix the play that was behind us. So, you know, we just got to – every play is the most important play. Like each next play is the most important play. We just got to keep that in mind, you know, because the next play could be the difference. When you can't fix the pass, you just got to go on and do your assignment that play.
You know, what I enjoy most here, Luther, is when we come up and talk to these guys. We do a lot of shows. We ask basically the same question, different guys, and we get the same answer, and that's what I like, because I keep getting the same answer. No attitudes on this team, discipline on the sideline, and you guys making the plays out there on the field. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we're going to get a little deeper in the social circle and talk about that for next week and go over some of the team stats of where the Panthers are right now. You're watching Panther Playback at Circuit World here in Blairsville. That's where we're at, right, Luther? Just double check. Thanks. Help me out there. We're in Blairsville. Thank you very much to Domino's Pizza and Pepsi.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
You're going to remember this September because the model year-end savings are huge at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save over $6,000 off new 2018 Chevy Equinox, or save over $12,500 off new 2018 Silverado Crew Cab LT. Days has model year-end discounts on every Chevy, so the time to buy is now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Folks, sorry about the delay. We were talking about wrestling or something, or conditioning in girls basketball. I mean, we were talking about a little bit of everything when we lived there. Team FYN Sports and Circuit World of Blairsville here presents Union Panther Playback, because I think, Coach, didn't you say that girls basketball is already conditioning like at 6:30 in the morning?
This morning.
This morning conditioning. Getting ready to go. We're going right out of football into basketball. Union Panthers Playback. Thank you to Domino's Pizza and Pepsi, and also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Team FYN Sports. Also like our Facebook page, instant replay, 10 a.m. every Monday morning on FYN TV. And don't forget, Team FYN Sports always highlighting, promoting young athletes in a positive way. We're talking 2A Region 8 football. We're here with head coach Brian Allison. We've got Chayton Schaefer, the strong safety, with us, number 2. Colson Daniel, center, number 50. Number 4, Cannon Hemphill, receiver and linebacker, all seniors. I want to run through, these are some stats I was looking at this afternoon on your Union Panthers out there. Pearson Allison on the season right now has 2,133 yards and 16 touchdowns, okay? And he also has 578 yards rushing. Buzzard, senior, number 24, 500 yards rushing. And a sophomore, Jay Daniel, 312 yards rushing. So that's some of the stats that the Panthers are putting up this year. Coach, you're able to go to 5-6 different guys on rushing, 5-6 different guys throwing the ball. You're able to spread the game around. Is that some of the depth that you've had in the past, or you've got more depth this year than you've had in a lot of years?
I think we have more depth at receivers and skilled spots, and like you said, we're throwing it to 6 or 7 guys a game possibly. So, Cannon and Chayton will both, they're playing defense or playing offense, and Sawyer and Kyle, and I think Mason McCombs has caught some, Caden Rich, like you said, Jonah. There's a bunch of guys. I know I've left some out early in the year. Alex Scott filled in for Sawyer, and so there's a lot of guys that have done a lot of great things. The best thing about this group to me is they're selfless, and they're blocking for each other. Cannon's blocking on the run, he's blocking on the screen pass, he's catching the ball. Colson's blocking for all of them, he's snapping it. Chayton's doing the same thing. He comes in, he's blocking some, he's catching the ball. So those receivers are blocking for each other, and it gives them an opportunity it gives us an opportunity to spread it out and not focus on one person. We've had that situation where we've had to focus on one receiver in years past. This year we're very blessed that we've got 5 or 6 receivers we can throw it to.
Let me go over, before I get into that, let me run real quick here on a couple of the defensive stats, because we have Creighton Schaefer here with us. 41 solo tackles, 20 assists, 61 total tackles, and Cannon here with a total of 25 tackles, 18 and 7 assists. Your guys' defense has stepped up this year. I didn't get to talk to you guys after. I got to talk to a couple other guys. I want to go back a couple games because I want to hear all 3 of you tell me about going to play Elbert, the atmosphere there, the Granite Bowl, what that was like. I think that's the game this year, I guess I would call that your team was tested. I mean, all sides. So I didn't get a chance since that game. You guys share that with us and those people out there, what it was like to go down and play there.
It was fun. It was something different. I don't think we played up to our standards very well. There was some missed. I know I had a couple of missed assignments. There was some missed assignments on offense, but overall it was a great win. You can't take anything away. We played good when it mattered, and that's what it's all about.
But I didn't get a chance to go down, but I hear the atmosphere there when you get there, just the atmosphere in itself. You guys speak to that.
Yeah, so it was like a horseshoe shape, and it was made out of granite, and I think it was almost 60, maybe 70 years old, you know. And it was just a part of the town, so everybody's like really there, and they're into it, and everybody was loud, you know, and they got the gel up on the top, and it was just really different. It was cool.
So I understand that is the town. They show up for their football games, to watch their football games. How about you, Creighton?
Yeah, it was.
Chayton. All right already. This is Chayton. Sorry.
It's all good.
There's no worrying. I apologize. I apologize to your family too, because I'm in big trouble.
It's okay. Yeah, but it was different. Yeah, like Colson said, we didn't play our best game, and I know I didn't. But what's great about it is we came out with a win, and that means we have a lot more that we can show. And like Cannon said, also environment. I mean, when it was getting late in the game, I couldn't hear hardly anything. You know, I'm trying to make calls over to John, and I could barely even hear him. So it was just a lot different than what we've had in the past, and I'm sure we'll get it at Raven too.
What are you guys seeing on film this week with Social Circle? As far as what are you guys practicing on this week? What are you guys seeing on film as far as your opponent Friday night?
Offensively, I think we're preparing for a lot of man defense. They showed it against us a couple years ago, and then against Raven last week. And we're expecting them to bring the rush a lot. So we're just getting prepared for that. A lot of pass pro, you know.
What about the defense coming out on that front line?
Like Cannon said, there's a lot of times against opponents that have offenses like ours, that they bring in 5, 6, 7 guys every time. So we're working a lot of that. We're working a lot of pass pro against heavy blitzes. So yeah, it'll be good.
What about as a linebacker there, Chayton? Did I get that right?
Safety.
Huh?
You got it right.
All right.
The name right, anyway.
Strong safety.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the linebacker.
Yeah, they, like Coach said, they got some big guys. I think they're going to want to pound it down in there, and you know they got that pretty good receiver. So we're just going to have to stay loyal to our jobs and make sure that we can lock them down with the receiver and stop the run as well.
Safety. I can't get any of this right tonight, huh? I get him to smile though, Luther. Okay, guys. Before we close out tonight, what is it on Friday night when you leave and you come back your first practice? What is it you say that you have to work on? What do you critique yourself on? What do you think you have to work on this week? What are you doing?
We need to be more physical, or I do. Our offensive line does. That's our biggest thing. We've got to be more physical. We gotta just line up and beat people that line up across from us, and that's hard.
Cannon, what's that for you? What do you critique yourself on this week that you're working on?
I think a lot of it's going to come down to our discipline on offense. I know we've had a couple games where we've had 7 or 8 penalties, you know. Whenever we get into these big games, we can't be beating ourselves, especially when we know that we have the opportunity to make big plays, you know. A lot of them have been called back. So that's one of the biggest things. They change the momentum.
What about you, Chayton? What are you critiquing yourself on this week that you're working on?
Probably better tackling technique. I mean, I haven't really been tested as much as it was against Albert, and like I said, I didn't play too well against them. So I want to be able to make better tackles and make more for my defense, and try not to make Coach Allison mad, I guess.
That's a win any day. All right, Coach, they're not allowed to talk about it. I'll take the chance here. I'll risk it. Okay. Well, I'll risk it. I know I can't ask them, but I'll risk it with you. Okay. No matter where you're at right now, you do for the fans out there. The Union Panthers have a home game in the next round, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what region would you be up against, and when will you know the seed and that matchup, what it would look like?
Well, it's been out. We're across over Region 5, so but we won't know until after the next week after next, after the social and then the Raven game. We don't know where we'll fall. We don't know where the other region will fall.
But no matter what happens in your region, you're going to cross over to 5, but you won't be playing a 1 in 5. That way you won't be playing a 1 seed.
That's correct.
Either a 3 or 4?
Either a 3 or 4.
Either a 3 or 4. All right. Tell me now. I know I've heard from them. How do you keep a team right now focused? I know you just making them say, "Hey, it's only a Friday night," but how do you, as a coach, keep these young men focused? And they're doing an outstanding job. You guys, your staff's doing a good job. But how do you keep these guys focused when you have the off week with the spring or fall break and playing? Not as competitive team and things like that. So what is that like?
Well, it's a credit to these guys. I mean, they could have come to practice last week and not been ready to practice and not been ready to be successful. But they made some goals back in May. Some goals that they had set, and so we see those every Monday in our team meeting, what those goals are, and they made a commitment to do the best job that they could do to reach those goals. And we talked about it today in our team meeting that one of the goals was actually 8 wins, and so we've got a chance to bust that goal this coming week. So that's something else. We can set another school record for consecutive wins, which would be 11. There's a lot of stuff. It's senior night, and I know these guys want to go out with a win, but the best thing you can do, to me as a coach, is talk to them about the situation. Talk to them about the temptation to look ahead and continually talk about it. But even in this conversation tonight, Rabun County's been mentioned several times, and we don't really want to mention them. We want to make sure that we're ready for Social Circle, and I think if you continue to talk about that, then they'll be focused on the Social Circle and not worry about the following week.
Well, so let me say this, because I really enjoy what I'm hearing here. At the beginning of the year, before these guys really kicked it off, this team set their goals. They set goals.
That's right.
And every week, you guys look at where you're at on those goals.
To a degree.
To a degree. And that was something that was pretty big this last week of looking at what goals they set at the beginning of the year and where they're at.
That's right.
Well, I know you guys got to stay focused on Social Circle. I understand that. Appreciate you, Coach. Guys, wish you well Friday night. We've had number 2, Chayton Schaefer, strong safety with us. Number 50, Colson Daniel, he's the center. And number 4, Cannon Hemphill, receiver and linebacker. All seniors tonight. We want to thank them for being here. Come out this Friday night. Social Circle will be in town, and it'll be senior night. Come out and support the Panthers. We have been here at Circuit World in Blairsville, and Panther Playback. Want to thank Domino's Pizza and Pepsi. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and at Team FYN Sports. Also like our Facebook page. And instant replay Monday, 10 a.m. on FYN TV every Monday morning. Don't forget, Team FYN Sports, always highlighting and promoting young athletes in a positive way. We've been talking 2A, Region 8 football with head coach Brian Allison. Coach, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time, and we love highlighting these young men here. Luther, thanks a lot for everything. It looks like you and I are headed south, buddy. You ready? All right, we're out.